Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Who wins? Terence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz. Now, hopefully, to be honest with you, man, you just don't know what fights are really going to happen. But let's just assume Crawford and Virgil Ortiz is next, right? Who do you have winning? And let's be real about it. Excuse me. And let's be fair. Who do you really have winning that fight? When you take a look at how Crawford performed against a very active, energetic, powerful, explosive fighter at 154, who had the stamina and endurance to punch and fight from the first second of the first round to the last second of the last round, right? You look what Crawford was able to do in that fight, to take control of, I would say, a monster. Some people have disagreed. They say, Madrimov is not a beast. Hood champion, you're taking it to the stupid. We just disagree. Obviously, I'm going to have to say you really don't know much about what you're seeing, because for anyone to look at Madrimov and say because he lost to Terence Crawford and he's had, less than like 12 fights, to come out here and say that he's not worthy of being labeled as a monster at 154, well, then you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? You just a seagull. You want to fly in, drop shit off, squawk about, and fly back out and go go shit up somebody else's comment section. But what Crawford did in that fight tells me a lot about Crawford. One, in particular, about his power at 154. He still has it, okay? The guys are bigger, but he still has it. Also about his IQ, about his reach, about his jab, and just about his ability to find a way to win. I don't think at any point was Crawford in any trouble in that fight. I think every round was a troubling round because he had somebody who was just there, man, looking to step to him and looking to come at him. And you saw when there were times when Madrimov had some success, and Crawford just had to stay cool, stay calm, stay behind that jab, throw that big left hand and step over and come across with the right hook. And the body work was amazing. So that being said, just looking at how Crawford performed at 154 and who he fought, I think Crawford is qualified, and I think he is going to do very well at 154 pounds. Now, Virgil Ortiz, look, he just fought. I've done enough videos on him. Everyone knows I think he lost, okay? There are a lot of people who think he won. Okay, there's some people who I normally agree with. We're not seeing eye to eye on that fight, but I think Bohachuk put the beans on him, sent the man to a hospital, broke his nose, damaged his orbital bone. So I mean, I don't know what else to say. But what I'll say is for Virgil Ortiz against Terence Crawford, I'm not sold on Virgil Ortiz being ready to dominate the 154-pound division, especially getting there and dominate Terence Crawford. I don't think so. I saw him in that fight. He just didn't have the reach, man. He was throwing some jabs. A lot of his shots were missing, man. I don't know what fight people were watching. Talking about, he was making adjustments, and it was so impressive to see him make adjustments and press the action. Yo, Virgil Ortiz, man, he did come forward at times. He was out here trying to let his hands go, but he was getting hit. He had his hands down by his hips. His back was on the ropes all the time. He was getting hit. He was getting hurt. He did land shots on Bohachuk too. There were ebbs and flows in the fight. But all I'll say is, right, I don't think he showed me anything to say he's ready for Terence Crawford. Crawford has him by like a 4.5-inch reach. Crawford is going to sit back, man, and just time him with that jab. He's going to shoot that jab at his chest, catch him in the chin all night long. And Ortiz went down. People keep saying he slipped against Bohachuk. Man, get out of here with that bullshit. His ass got knocked down. Goddamn bucket, boy. Y'all let your loyalty drive you to being goddamn deluded when it comes to these goddamn fighters you like. But if Bohachuk dropped him, even if it was a flash knockdown or he got hit and then he just kind of stumbled or tripped or slid or whatever it was. The bottom line is a punch connected, right? But if Bohachuk can do that to him, and Ortiz jumped right up, got to give him credit. He jumped right up and went right back to work. Well, what's going to happen when Crawford lands? Because Crawford's going to land. And Crawford's not going to be stupid in the first 4 rounds. I mean, everyone knows Virgil Ortiz, even at 154. Them first 4 rounds is his best chance because of how he comes in like the Tasmanian devil. You know what I'm saying? That's his best chance of having success. Crawford's not going to let him do that. Crawford's going to control the fight, and he's going to fight at his pace. And when Crawford's ready to go into the phone booth and turn into Southpaw Man and come out there and put the bing-bings on Ortiz, the fight ends. So if Crawford comes out in round 1 as a Southpaw, the fight ends. And Ortiz does have a nice right hand. He does, and that's the Southpaw's kryptonite. But if Madrimov can land clean right hands on Crawford, and Crawford just kind of eat them shits like grapes, I don't see Virgil Ortiz doing nothing that would have Crawford feeling like he has something to worry about. Period. Crawford has patience. He has great controlled breathing. And he has an outstanding IQ and timing. Crawford's just a problem. That shit he did with Madrimov impressed me. And what Ortiz did in there with Bohachuk, it was impressive to see him be able to fight and push through and get to the finish line thanks to the help of Harvey Dock. Let's just be real now. Old kidney bean head ass Harvey Dock. He had everything. He had a whole lot to do with Ortiz being able to hang in that fight and get through those rounds, especially when he was getting the bing-bings put on him. But Ortiz did nothing to make me feel he's going to give Terrence Crawford anything to worry about. He presents no problems. So he loses. Now, what would be interesting for the undercard, at least for 2 fights on the undercard, I don't know what other fights Turki Alashik's going to come up with, but he already talked about Shakur and Zepeda. You know what's interesting is Shakur and Zepeda. This is going to tell us a whole lot about Shakur Stevenson. He's going to be in there, man, with a goddamn bull, a lion, right? And Shakur Stevenson can't come out there trying to be cute and float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. A bee stinging a lion, all the lion gonna do is just sit there and take his tail and kind of just whip it back and forth and just smash and kill the goddamn bee. Like, man, get your ass out of here trying to sting me. He gonna laugh. He may even reach down and just chew his ass up. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson in there, man, trying to float like a butterfly and sting Zepeda like a bee. Zepeda gonna put the Mexican bing-bings all over his ass. But if Shakur Stevenson gets through Zepeda, then Shakur Stevenson may have something. He may have something. Because Zepeda can crack, high volume fighter, high intensity, and he doesn't get tired. If Shakur Stevenson can out-stamina him, can out-IQ him, if he can out-time him, and if he can slow him down to where Zepeda's only throwing about 30 punches around, then Shakur Stevenson's a bad man. I just don't think he can do it. It's just my opinion. Remember, styles make fights. I'm not at all saying Shakur Stevenson can't fight. That's dumb. The man won a silver medal in the Olympics, three-weight champion, man, 3 different weight classes and won titles. Shakur Stevenson can scrap. I don't think he beats Zepeda. But if he does, that's going to tell us a whole lot about Shakur Stevenson. Because I personally think with most people, I think the verdict's still out on Shakur. I think it is. I think they're like, okay, 3-weight divisions, but at 135, I'm not really sure he can go much further. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to have an opportunity to prove himself. And if he can clip Zepeda, that's going to tell us everything we need to know. For Zepeda, I think we already know what Zepeda's all about, man. 31 wins, 27 KOs, 87% KO ratio, 5'9", 69.5-inch reach. Him and Shakur are pretty evenly matched. But that damn Zepeda is just a beast, man. This guy throw up to 100 punches around. That's crazy. So, again, I think this fight is going to prove a whole lot about Shakur. I think we already have an idea about Zepeda, but it's going to tell us a lot about Zepeda and where his IQ is. Because if he can somehow, like Edgar Belanga's going to try to do, out-IQ Canelo, if Zepeda can out-IQ Shakur, then Zepeda's on to something. But if you ask me who wins, I think Zepeda beats Shakur. I think he stops him. I do. I think it's Maidana, Adrian Broner all over again. Just my opinion. Now, Madrimov and Bohachuk. That would be a very interesting fight if they put that on the undercard as well. Now, this isn't a fight for me to see what Madrimov's made of and Bohachuk's made of. We already know what they're made of. You already know what you're getting when they come in there. Who wins? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because they both have proven to be, monsters. For Bohachuk, for what he did with Ortiz, for Madrimov to be able to, press Crawford, the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing, and to make it a hard fight for Crawford. I just think both of them, and know it's crazy. Crawford is still trying to prove himself. Ortiz is trying to prove himself. Shakur's trying to prove himself. But Zepeda's already kind of, when it comes to people's opinions, already proven. Bohachuk is already kind of proven now. Madrimov's already kind of proven now. But when it comes to the three big names, Shakur, Ortiz, and Crawford, they're still fighting for approval and shit from the fans. Isn't that crazy? Out of these three fights, the one fight where people are already like, hey, we know what we're going to get with these two, is Madrimov and Bohachuk. That's wild to me, but it is what it is. Not everybody feels that, but most. Now, when you come back down here and you just take a look at who's going to win, Madrimov and Bohachuk, I'd roll the dice and say Madrimov. I think Madrimov. If Ortiz was able to hurt Bohachuk a couple of times through that fight, I think Madrimov can get to him. Crawford and Virgil, I think Crawford gets him. I think that's an easy fight for Crawford. And Shakur and Zepeda, I think Zepeda tranquilizes Shakur. But if Shakur beats him, then I'll be convinced that Shakur Stevenson belongs at 135. But hey, just my opinion, just a conversation. Those three fights I think will be outstanding. I think it'll be great to have those two fights supporting Crawford and Virgil. And that's who I think wins. All right? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.